Well, I am so excited to be back here with you to talk about the intuitive guidance messages for the month of November. So, welcome. If we're new to each other, I'm Julie Reisler. I am an interior designer for the soul. I have a master's degree in health and wellness coaching. I'm a coach, I'm a mentor, I'm a host of the You-est podcast, author of Get a PhD in You, and gratefully getting to be here in this community with you and love, love, love to tune into the energy of the month, the moon, the new moon, the full moon. If you haven't been here before, welcome. And for those of you who have, I will be pulling two cards from my deck, the You-est intention cards, and we'll do a really short heart activation at the end. So this is going to be a packed little video together and time together, and just want to say welcome, and I'm thrilled that you're here. Let's get started. So actually, before I talk about the moons, I'm going to pull two cards. Let's just see what the intuitive guidance is for this month. So I am actually just right here, you can see I am shuffling them. And what I like to do, I like to shuffle them and then kind of span them out like this. And then I'm just going to pull, there's one that's sticking out. And what I'm looking for is I'm looking for the cards that either stick out or kind of light up, that feel like for some reason, I think of it as like they're talking to me. Now, I did set an intention before I started this so that really this time together is my intention and prayer is may this be for the highest good of you and all those that are watching and that you share this with, and highest good for the planet. So here are the cards. Oh, I love these. Love, 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 love. This is one of my favorites in the whole world. Okay, the first card I chose, the first intention is grace. I'll talk about what's coming through to me with that term, but here's the intention. I move through life with grace, and I invite grace into all corners of my life. So, questions to ask your You-est you. Who is someone I know that is full of grace, and how can I learn from him or her? What would it look like to do life from the lens of grace versus force or resistance? How do I feel when I see grace flowing in my life? So I'll show you. Here's the card, grace. And we're going to move on to the next card, which is presence. Really great. These actually connect so nicely. The intention, as I increase my presence, I feel more present to all the gifts in my life. I am present to the miracle of being alive and well right now, in this moment. I will pause throughout the day to bring a new sense of awareness to all that surrounds me. This is going to go so well as we talk about the full moon. So ask your You-est you these questions. How can I add more presence to my morning and day? How can I pay attention to what's happening in this very moment? And what beauty can I find in it? I'll just show you right here. There's presence. All right, my friends. So right off the bat, something that I do want to talk about is really this idea of grace. And when you think of things that have grace in them, that are graceful, right? We think of water, right? I'm going to ask you to think about the elements in your life, the elements connected to earth. So water has a grace to it, the air, right, the wind, right? And have you ever noticed, like especially in fall time for those in the northern hemisphere, when the leaves fall, they move gracefully in the wind, right? There's a signature, an energy signature to grace. And I believe that it's very similar and connected to the same frequency of compassion, of kindness. Just notice how that feels. Grace and kindness has a very similar kind of energy component, signature to it, and love. So grace, really looking at how can you be gracious, right? Generous is another word. How can you be gracious with yourself? How can you be gracious with yourself? I just released a podcast episode I did myself on why selfishness, why self-care is not selfish, right? Why it's so important to give to ourselves, to be gracious with ourselves. So feel free to check that out if you'd like to learn more how to be gracious with yourself and self-care. But for now, I want you to really think about how might I be more graceful with myself? How might I treat myself with more grace? Because how you treat yourself is going to be how you treat others. What you give to yourself is going to be what you have to give others. So filling yourself with that pace of grace, that space of grace, like really allowing for that graceful learning, not being so mean and impatient with yourself, right? And allowing that grace to show up in gratitude and appreciation. That's another similarity, whether it's for what you have versus focusing on what you don't have, whether it's that sense of grace with just being alive, right? That sense of grace, and some think of it as the divine grace, higher power grace, God's grace, like our ability to just to be here, to be alive and breathing, to have our heart beating. So grace is an important one. It's such a beautiful, that thread of grace can make a big difference in your presence. That's why I love how these connect. Presence is about being here in the moment without judgment, right? If you look at John Kabat-Zinn, who's kind of known as the grandfather of mindfulness and that mindfulness-based stress reduction technique, and he talks a lot about this, that mindfulness is really about being present in the moment with full awareness without judgment. So when you bring in grace, that is going to help you to be present and to be in the moment and to see the gift, right? The present of actually of your life, exactly as it is and exactly as it isn't. Presence is also about being here now. So really listening deeply, whether you're with your child or your friend or your lover, partner in your business and work, being present, being here, giving that gift of graceful listening, of grace and listening and presence. The biggest gift that you and I can give somebody else is our full attention. Right? So it's all connected. Love these. All right. We're going to move into the moons for November. I want to explain the 2 moons, what's happening, and just so you can kind of prepare. So we have the full moon is coming up on November 8th. November 8th will be the full moon. It's also known as the frost moon or the beaver moon. What do beavers do? They build dams. They're very productive, right? It's all about fulfillment, and it's also about taking an inventory and reflecting, right? Looking at your successes and your challenges, reflecting on what moves you in your heart, reflecting on your emotional state, your emotional well-being. So a lot of this full moon is about reflection, about taking inventory. It's also about letting go of whatever doesn't serve you. And it's about letting go of that drama, of that overt drama, that that kind of power that is misaligned, things that are not serving you. So it's important to take stock, right? Successes, challenges, what's giving you energy, what do you love, what do you not? Release what does not. It's also kind of cool. The full moon this year is going to be in the sign of Taurus, which is a fixed sign. It's also correlating and coinciding with a full a total lunar eclipse. This happens every 6 months. It's when the earth moves between the sun and the moon. And it is a powerful time, my friend, for manifestation. So get clear. What do you want to manifest? What do you want to attract? And here's the tip. Here's the secret. I don't give it all away, but it's about who you're being, right? So coming from grace, being present. What are you going to attract? More things to feel appreciative and that are in that realm of grace, and more opportunities to want to be present. So this is a powerful time. Get clear what you want to manifest. Get clear what you want to manifest. Now for the new moon is happening November 23rd, and that is going to be in the sign of Sagittarius. I am wearing my little arrow today in honor of Sagittarius. I am a Sagittarius. I've got about 5 signs in Sagittarius. If you are one, write back, comment below. I'm a Sag as well. You could use a little arrow emoji. Sagittarius is all about optimism, being optimistic. It's about searching for truth, for life's meaning. It's about finding that spiritual sustenance in life, right? And so really looking for, where can I be more optimistic in my life? What's working well? That great question. What's working well? How can I invite more optimism? How can I look at this from a place of this, from that space of what's the greatest learning here? And in the bottom of that is really that greater sense of hope, right? So get out your little archer and your bow and arrow and aim. Aim for what you want. Aim for what you desire. Aim for what you are grateful for and what you, as I said earlier, what you want to manifest, but also really looking at that deeper meaning in life. You're going to aim for what moves you, what gives you energy. What are you wanting to let go of in this year? Because we're almost at the end of the year, to what are you calling forth? So that new moon energy will be in Sagittarius on the 23rd, right in time for Thanksgiving. For those in the U.S. at least. I know those in Canada, it's at a different time. And if you're not in the Northern Hemisphere, then you may not celebrate Thanksgiving. For those in the U.S., it'll be the 24th, which also happens to be my birthday. Kind of fun, every 6 years. So get into that harvesting, this time of appreciation, of optimism, of deeper truth. This is a powerful, powerful time of year. So what we're going to do together, just to connect in to our hearts all here together, I'm going to invite you just to kind of really ground in and bring your attention to that sense of presence and grace. We're going to put your hand on your heart. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, shoulders come down. Imagine breathing in and out of your heart space. And as it gets darker out, I'm going to invite you to imagine a light in your heart. It keeps expanding greater and greater beyond your heart space, beyond your chest, beyond your body, into the field around you. And so together we're just activating our own field, that light within us, around us, as us. It's that light that's in you. It's activating to speak and be through you so that you may be a greater light, illuminate more radiance, more optimism, right? More hope. And just imagining that light like you would see with a candle is just getting brighter and brighter and brighter. 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 10 feet around your body. Just imagine it expanding beyond what you might even be able to imagine, beyond your house, your home, wherever you might be living or walking or staying, beyond your state or your city. That light just keeps expanding and expanding so that you look like a combination of the sun and the moon. Just like the lunar eclipse, you are in the midst, in between that moon and sun, and you are that radiant light. And just tuning in now to that energy of grace and of presence. Grace, graceful, gracious. Thank you to your heart, your gracious heart, for beating on your behalf. Tuning into the presence of your heart beating, of your body, of the well-being that is here right now. And then slowly, when you're ready, just saying a moment of thank you, knowing that that is the most beautiful and most powerful prayer of all. Just saying thank you. Thank you to life itself. Thank you to your higher self. Thank you to what I call your You-est you. Thank you to the divine. Whether you call that God or higher power, or to universe, Mother Earth, Goddess. And in opening your eyes, and I'm going to end by saying thank you. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for continuing on this journey, for really tuning in and for being present and for adding in more grace and for being part of this greater upliftment and raising of consciousness and raising of our light. And just like we did in the heart activation, the light in I honors and sees the light in you. Namaste. Blessings, my friend. Have a beautiful month.